Hello and welcome to Sleepy Scientist. I'm glad you're here, whether you've had a long day, a busy mind, or you simply love falling asleep to the sound of science. Tonight, we're going to dive into a topic that might just make you look at the dark in a whole new way. Imagine for a moment that the world around you fades into shadow. Except for some creatures, the dark isn't the end of the world at all. Instead, it's an invitation to explore, to hunt, to live. We're talking about night vision. Some animals like owls and bats can navigate in total darkness, their eyes seeing things you and I can't even begin to comprehend. So what's behind this remarkable ability? Let's first explore the most obvious question. How do animals see in the dark? It seems almost like magic, doesn't it? But there's science too, and it's a kind of natural enchantment we're going to unravel tonight. Whether you've wondered about how a cat prowls around your house without bumping into things, or how bats swoop through caves, there's a fascinating biological story behind it all. Before we get into the details of those dark-adapted eyes, let's take a moment to think about how we humans experience the world. As the sun dips below the horizon, your vision begins to weaken. The world grows dimmer, then darker. Our eyes, though incredible, struggle when there's no light. But imagine, if you will, a world where the dark doesn't bring limitations. A world where nightfall means freedom. That's the world of animals, with extraordinary night vision. And it's not just about seeing in low light, it's about seeing in a whole different dimension of light. Some of these creatures can see into the infrared, others can detect ultraviolet light spectrums of light that are invisible to us. We'll start by exploring exactly how that works and what makes their vision so unique, starting with the very building blocks of how we see our eyes. Now, as you settle in, I'd love to know, where are you listening from? What time is it in your corner of the world as we drift deeper into the science of night vision? If you enjoy these sleepy explorations, I'd be so grateful if you gave the video a little like and tapped that subscribe button. It helps more sleepy scientists like you find their way here, and it means I can keep making more of these journeys for you now. Let's begin. Our eyes, like all animals, are finely tuned instruments. They're made up of several components working together to gather light, convert it into signals, and send those signals to our brain to process. In a sense, your eyes are like little cameras, constantly adjusting to light levels, focusing and capturing the visual world around you. But here's the first twist. Our eyes are built for daylight. Humans, as creatures of the day, rely on the photoreceptor cells in our retinas called cones. These cones are excellent at picking up bright light and color, but they struggle in low light conditions. And that's where the magic of night vision begins. It's not about the amount of light you can see, it's about sensitivity. In animals that excel in the dark, the real players are the rods. These photoreceptors are designed to work in low light, sending signals to the brain even when there's barely any light at all. But there's more to it than just having more rods in your eyes. Some animals have taken this idea even further. What happens when rods go beyond just being sensitive to light and become hyper-efficient, responding to the faintest glimmer of starlight or the slightest flicker of movement in the dark? Well, that's when night vision turns into something remarkable. But we're just getting started, and as we peel back the layers of these evolutionary adaptations, we'll find that night vision isn't just about the eyes. There's a whole suite of adaptations that help creatures like owls, bats, and even deep-sea fish to thrive, where we can barely see at all. So as you close your eyes for a moment, and imagine a world where the night holds no fear or uncertainty, think about the animals that roam freely under the cover of darkness. How do they perceive the world? What would it feel like to slip into their shoes, or rather their eyes, for a little while? Have you ever wondered how an owl can hunt in complete darkness, or how a bat knows exactly where to swoop? It's almost as if these creatures are equipped with special powers, giving them the ability to see in places we can only stumble through. In this section, we're going to explore the physiology behind this night vision. It's more than just a few extra photoreceptors in the eye. There's an entire symphony of features that make night vision a reality for certain animals. First, let's start by focusing on one of the most famous night hunters, the owl. If you've ever watched one silently glide through the night, you may have noticed its large, expressive eyes. Those eyes are more than just for show. They're finely tuned tools designed specifically for low-light environments. In fact, an owl's eyes are about 50% larger in proportion to its head than ours, giving it a greater surface area for capturing light. These big round eyes help them gather as much light as possible, even when the world around them is nearly pitch black. It's as if they have built-in night vision goggles, but without the need for batteries. But what makes owls stand out isn't just the size of their eyes, it's how the light is processed. In addition to having an abundance of rods, the photoreceptors that detect low-light owls have a highly specialized retina that's capable of processing even the faintest glimmers of light. The concentration of rods in their retinas is far higher than in most animals, enabling them to detect the smallest movements, such as the rustle of a mouse in the grass. And while humans rely mostly on cones to see the world in vibrant color, owls have a much higher proportion of rods, making them experts at seeing in low-light conditions without the need for vibrant colors. Now you might be thinking, but surely it's not just about the eyes, right? And you'd be absolutely right. Vision isn't just about how much light you can see, but also about how your brain processes that information. And animals like owls have brains that are specially adapted to make sense of all that incoming data. The part of an owl's brain responsible for processing visual information is much larger relative to its size than in humans, allowing it to process visual stimuli more efficiently and with far greater sensitivity. Imagine for a moment that you're an owl. You're perched on a branch, the world around you nearly black, except for the faint moonlight filtering through the trees. You hear the slightest rustle, a mouse. No matter how subtle the sound, your keen night vision allows you to lock onto it instantly. You begin to move your wings silent in the night air, and you know exactly where to strike your eyes, seeing more than what's in front of you. It's not just the movement you're tracking, but the very essence of the night itself, a tapestry of light and shadow woven together in ways you could never perceive in the daylight. If you're thinking, wow, that sounds almost otherworldly, you're right. These animals really do live in a different realm of perception. One where darkness doesn't limit them, but rather opens up an entirely new world. The world of night vision is far more complex and sophisticated than we might have ever imagined. Now let's take a small detour from owls and talk about something that might surprise you, how some animals manage to see infrared light, a part of the spectrum we can't even detect. How do creatures like pit vipers, some species of beetles, and even certain fish see heat? This ability is something quite extraordinary, and it doesn't just allow them to see in the dark, it lets them sense the temperature of their prey, which is crucial for hunting in pitch-black environments. Infrared vision works through a mechanism that's both similar and different from how we process light. While your eyes see light as a part of the visible spectrum, infrared radiation exists outside of what our eyes can pick up. It's the heat that radiates from living beings and warm objects. For animals like pit vipers, their special heat vision comes from specialized pits on their face, just below their eyes, which can detect infrared radiation. These pits, often called pit organs, allow these snakes to sense the heat signatures of their prey even in total darkness. The beauty of infrared vision is that it's all about contrast. In a dark environment where there's little or no visible light, infrared radiation provides a completely different kind of visual cue. A warm-blooded animal like a mouse will glow in the infrared spectrum compared to its cooler surroundings. The snake can track this heat source even though it cannot see anything else. Imagine stepping into a room where everything is dark and silent, and the only thing visible is the outline of the warm body of a creature glowing like a distant star. What about other animals that use similar mechanisms? Certain deep-sea fish have a unique form of night vision that goes beyond our human comprehension. They've evolved to see in the dark depths of the ocean where no sunlight penetrates. In the pitch-black environment of the ocean where visibility is zero, these fish have developed the ability to use bioluminescence, light created by living organisms, to see their surroundings. Their eyes can detect the faintest glow, helping them navigate and hunt in the deep. Some even rely on this bioluminescence to communicate with each other or to lure prey close enough to capture. If you're wondering how these creatures process such light in the absence of visible light, think about it like having a different lens on your camera. Where your camera might capture normal light, these animals have developed specialized eyes that can detect and see this bioluminescent glow, allowing them to create a mental map of their environment. It's as though they're walking around with built-in night vision goggles that let them see things invisible to us. Now you might be wondering if this kind of vision could be developed by humans. Could we someday see in the dark, like an owl or a snake? It's a fascinating question to think about, and who knows what future technological advances might allow us to explore the unseen realms of the dark. But for now, we'll leave that mystery to the creatures who've already mastered it. As we continue our journey through the night vision world, you may have started to wonder, are we humans at a disadvantage? With our reliance on the visible spectrum, how do we compete with animals that seem to have evolved entirely different tools to navigate the dark? While we can't see in the dark like an owl or snake, humans do have a remarkable set of adaptations to survive in dim conditions. But more importantly, understanding the science of night vision in animals might make you appreciate the subtle ways your own eyes are designed to handle low light. Let's begin by considering the basics of human vision. When you think about it, our eyes are incredible, just in how they allow us to see the world in full color during the day. But at night, the story changes. In low light, human eyes depend on something called scotopic vision, a form of vision in which the retina relies heavily on rods. Rods are the cells responsible for detecting light, but can only perceive black, white, and shades of gray. That means when the sun sets and the world around us dims, we transition to this less colorful, blurry version of sight. It's not the same level of clarity that animals like owls or cats experience, but it's still a pretty fantastic survival tool. Interestingly, humans do have one small edge over some night-seeing creatures: our color vision. While owls and other night hunters mostly rely on rods, humans have a unique blend of both rods and cones, the cells responsible for color detection. In the twilight hours, cones become less active, but the blend of rods and cones still gives us some sensitivity to varying light conditions. This explains why you can still spot details around you, though not in full color during dusk or dawn, especially when the moonlight shines through. But what makes humans' ability to adapt to the dark even more fascinating isn't just biology, it's psychology. We've learned to compensate for our limitations with other senses. Imagine walking through a darkened room. You may not see everything, but you'll rely on sound, touch, and perhaps even memory to navigate. This process, known as sensory substitution, is how humans cope with the limitations of scotopic vision. So while we might not have infrared sight, we have other ways to adapt and interpret our surroundings. But now, let's consider a particular group of creatures that seem to have mastered the art of blending the best of both worlds: animals that have developed a form of vision that bridges the gap between light and dark. Take cats, for example. Cats are well known for their superior night vision, But how do they do it? If you've ever watched a cat zoom through the house in total darkness, effortlessly weaving between furniture, you may have wondered how they can navigate so gracefully. It all boils down to their eyes, which are designed for low-light environments. Much like owls, cats have large round pupils that can open wide to let in as much light as possible. But their secret isn't just their eye shape, it's the reflective layer at the back of their eyes, known as the tapetum lucidum. This magical layer acts like a mirror, reflecting any light that passes through the retina back into the eye. This effectively gives the light a second chance to be absorbed by the photoreceptors, making it easier for cats to see in even the faintest light. In fact, their night vision is about 6 times better than ours, allowing them to track even the slightest movements in near darkness. The tapetum lucidum is not just useful for cats. Many other nocturnal animals share this feature. Some species of dogs, raccoons, and even certain fish have evolved this reflective layer to enhance their ability to hunt or navigate at night. It's almost as though the creatures of the night are constantly surrounded by a glow, a soft light bouncing through their eyes, revealing the world in a way that we simply can't imagine. But while the tapetum lucidum is a wondrous adaptation for these animals, it's not perfect. Just as it helps them see better at night, it can also cause them to struggle with glare in bright conditions. Have you ever looked into a cat's eyes and noticed that eerie glow, especially when light hits them just right? That's the tapetum lucidum, doing its work, reflecting light in the dark. Now you might be wondering why we don't have this ability. Why don't humans have a tapetum lucidum or similar adaptations for seeing in the dark? It's a matter of evolutionary trade-offs. Humans evolved to be more reliant on color vision during the day, which allowed us to hunt, gather, and process information more effectively in daylight. As a result, we don't have the same features that might enhance low-light vision. But that's okay. Our eyes are still incredibly adaptive and versatile in their own right. We've simply evolved to thrive in environments where light plays a more significant role. That said, the night vision abilities of cats, owls, and other animals remind us of the beauty and complexity of nature. Each creature has developed its own unique solution to the problem of seeing in the dark. While we may never be able to see in the infrared or with the same clarity as an owl, we have our own ways of adapting to the dark. And in a way, that's what makes the world of night vision so fascinating. There are countless ways life has evolved to conquer the challenges of darkness, each one perfectly suited to the needs of the species. Now, as we look deeper into the mechanisms of night vision, it's worth wondering, could there ever be a way for us to enhance our own vision, perhaps by using technology or genetic modifications? Could we one day have a built-in infrared sense, or even adapt our eyes to better handle low-light environments? The possibilities are endless, but for now, we can simply marvel at the wonders of the animal kingdom and their incredible ability to see in the dark. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of animal night vision, let's take a moment to shift our perspective. We've talked about how creatures like cats and owls have evolved to see in low-light environments thanks to adaptations like the tapetum lucidum. But there are other extraordinary examples in nature creatures that have developed unique ways to perceive the dark. What if I told you that some animals can see in the infrared spectrum, or that certain species can even detect the faintest electric pulses in the air? It's all part of the rich tapestry of sensory adaptations that allow these animals to thrive in the dark. Let's start with one of the most mysterious and often misunderstood creatures of the animal kingdom, the bat. Now, when you think of bats, you probably picture them flitting around in the dead of night, their sleek bodies cutting through the darkness with ease. But how do they manage to do it without crashing into trees or flying straight into walls? It's not night vision in the traditional sense, but something far more complex. Echolocation. Echolocation is the ability to detect objects and navigate by emitting sound waves and listening for their echoes as they bounce back. Bats are masters of this ability. In fact, some species can emit sound waves so high-pitched that humans can't even hear them. These sound waves travel through the air, bounce off nearby objects, and return to the bat's sensitive ears. By listening carefully to the timing and intensity of the echoes, the bat can form a mental map of its environment, even in complete darkness. It's like they're painting a picture of the world around them, using sound as their brush. In this sense, bats are able to see the world in an entirely different way than we do, not relying on visible light at all. It's a perfect example of how evolution has equipped certain species with the tools they need to thrive in environments where light is scarce. Imagine being able to navigate a dark room simply by listening to the sounds that bounce off the walls, objects, and people around you. It's a skill that would be invaluable in a world where sight fails to provide sufficient information. But what about creatures that can see in the infrared spectrum, something entirely beyond human vision? Certain species of snakes, for example, have evolved highly sensitive pit organs, which allow them to detect infrared radiation, essentially the heat emitted by objects. This adaptation is particularly useful for hunting warm-blooded prey, like rodents or birds. A snake can see its prey by detecting the heat it gives off, even in complete darkness. It's as if the snake has developed its own internal heat-sensing radar, giving it an almost supernatural ability to track down food. In fact, some species of pit vipers can detect temperature differences as small as 0.003 degrees Celsius, an incredibly fine-tuned sense of heat perception. This ability allows the snake to track the slightest movements of warm-bodied animals, even if they're hidden under layers of leaves or soil. It's a fascinating way of seeing the world, one that doesn't rely on light at all, but instead on the infrared radiation that constantly surrounds us. This infrared vision isn't limited to snakes either. Certain species of insects like the Australian green tree frog can also perceive infrared light, allowing them to detect changes in temperature and navigate their environment more effectively. While we humans rely on visible light to guide us through the world, these creatures have evolved to perceive a different spectrum, entirely one that's invisible to our eyes. It's a reminder of how incredibly diverse the animal kingdom is when it comes to vision and perception. The methods of seeing in the dark are as varied as the creatures themselves, and each one has evolved to suit its environment. Whether it's echolocation, infrared vision, or the ability to see in the near-total absence of light, animals have developed a stunning array of tools to survive and thrive in the dark corners of our world. And you might be wondering, how does all this relate to the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle? After all, this strange region of the world is famous for its association with disappearances and unexplained phenomena. Could some of the creatures we've discussed, bats, snakes, or other night-adapted animals, hold the key to solving the Bermuda Triangle's many mysteries? Are there hidden realms beneath the sea or within the sky where these animals might possess a special kind of vision that could help us unlock the secrets of the area? Now imagine you're standing at the edge of the Bermuda Triangle, surrounded by the vast expanse of the ocean. It's dark, the sky is filled with stars, and the wind whispers through the air. It's easy to think that what you see is all that exists, just the water, the sky, and the horizon. But just beneath the surface, in the depths of the ocean, creatures are navigating through the dark, unseen by the naked eye. Some of them, like deep-sea fish, have evolved their own versions of night vision using bioluminescence to light their way, or enhanced vision to navigate in the pitch black. The vastness of the Bermuda Triangle may hold a universe of creatures that can see, move, and understand the world in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. The mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle are intriguing, not because of its eerie reputation, but because it invites us to think about what we don't know. What if the very creatures that live in the area, from the smallest plankton to the largest sharks, possess senses that help them navigate in ways we can only dream of? Could their heightened perception offer a clue to the bizarre events that occur in this region? Perhaps there's a hidden world beneath the waves, one that's far stranger and more wondrous than we've ever imagined. By studying animals' incredible abilities to see the world in ways humans can't, we start to realize that there's more to the universe than meets the eye, literally. What animals can see, hear, and sense is only the tip of the iceberg, and as we continue to explore the mysteries of the world, including the Bermuda Triangle, might slowly come into focus. As we dive deeper into the mystery of night vision and the creatures that navigate the darkness, we begin to touch on an even more fascinating concept: how evolution fine-tunes these abilities. Animals that thrive in the dark do so because they've developed extraordinary senses and biological adaptations that not only help them survive, but allow them to flourish where light is a luxury few can afford. Let's look at how the evolution of night vision is a true marvel of biology and what this tells us about the hidden world around us. Imagine, if you will, a forest where the sun has long disappeared, leaving only the cool embrace of twilight. The trees whisper with the wind, and in the shadows animals begin to stir. A fox, for instance, is perfectly adapted to see in these low-light conditions. While the human eye struggles in the dark, the fox has evolved a larger, more sensitive retina that allows it to gather light more efficiently. The larger the retina, the more light it can capture, and in turn, the better the animal can see. But there's more to this adaptation than just size. What makes the fox's eyes particularly special is the presence of a layer of tissue called the tapetum lucidum. This tissue acts like a mirror, reflecting light that passes through the retina back into the eye. This increases the chances of light being absorbed, giving the fox the ability to see in much dimmer conditions than we can. You may have noticed this phenomenon when you've seen a cat or dog at night. Their eyes often appear to glow, a result of the tapetum lucidum. In essence, the fox's eyes are a built-in night vision device, an evolutionary gift that gives it an edge in the nocturnal world. In contrast, humans, despite our technological advancements, are still relatively poor when it comes to seeing in the dark. Our eyes rely heavily on rods, the cells in our retina, that detect light, but we don't have the reflective layer that animals like foxes or cats do. Instead, humans have evolved eyes suited for color vision and sharp focus in daylight, allowing us to thrive in environments where bright light is available. It's a beautiful example of how evolution tailors each species' senses to fit its needs, and while we may not have night vision in the same way as a fox, we possess our own set of advantages. But the story of evolution doesn't stop with just better retinas or specialized tissue. Consider the extraordinary adaptations seen in creatures that dwell in the most extreme environments, like deep caves or the ocean's depths. These creatures, like the blind cavefish, have taken evolution's hand in a different direction. In complete darkness, where there's no need for sight, the cavefish has lost its eyes altogether. Instead, it relies on an extraordinary sense of touch and vibration detection to navigate the water around it. In the absence of light, the cavefish's ability to detect subtle movements in the water, like the tiniest shifts caused by a passing current or a predator, becomes its primary way of seeing its environment. It's as if the fish has adapted to use the very medium around it, water, as its eyes. This loss of eyesight might seem like a step backward in evolutionary terms, but it's an incredible example of how evolution will move in whatever direction is necessary to ensure survival. The cavefish doesn't need to see to live in its pitch-black world. Instead, it uses heightened senses to fill the gap. And then there's the remarkable case of the mantis shrimp, one of the most spectacular creatures in the animal kingdom. While we're talking about night vision, we might as well discuss the mantis shrimp's ability to see the world in ways that would seem almost otherworldly. This tiny crustacean, which lives in the shallow waters of the ocean, possesses an incredibly sophisticated set of eyes. In fact, the mantis shrimp has the most complex visual system of any known animal. Whereas humans can see three primary colors, red, green, and blue, the mantis shrimp has an astonishing 16 types of photoreceptor cells. This allows it to see ultraviolet light, polarized light, and even the full range of the color spectrum far beyond what we can perceive. What's even more astounding is that the mantis shrimp's eyes move independently of each other, giving it a panoramic view of the world that no human could ever replicate. With eyes like these, the mantis shrimp can see its environment in a dazzling array of colors and patterns, many of which are invisible to us. It's as if the mantis shrimp is living in a world of ultraviolet hues, able to detect the subtlest changes in light that other creatures would miss entirely. But how does this relate to the mysterious world of night vision? Well, it turns out that the mantis shrimp's ability to see beyond our spectrum is useful in low-light conditions, especially in the murky depths of the ocean where visibility is poor. While it may not be as directly related to the kind of night vision that animals like cats or owls possess, the mantis shrimp's vision offers us another window into how evolution can push the boundaries of what's possible, giving creatures the ability to navigate environments we can't even imagine. As we reflect on these incredible adaptations, we begin to understand the true complexity of the natural world. Each species, whether it's the fox, the cavefish, or the mantis shrimp, has evolved a unique set of tools to help it thrive in the dark. These adaptations are not random. They are the result of millions of years of fine-tuning by the forces of nature. The more we learn about these extraordinary abilities, the more we realize just how little we know about the unseen world around us. But even as we marvel at these biological wonders, you might still be wondering, how do these adaptations connect to the mysterious Bermuda Triangle? Could some of the animals that inhabit this strange and eerie region of the world have developed unique sensory adaptations that allow them to navigate the unknown? Is it possible that some creatures whose sensory systems are vastly different from our own are perceiving things that we cannot even begin to comprehend? If the Bermuda Triangle is a place of strange phenomena, could it be that the creatures living within its boundaries are sensing something that we can't? As we continue to explore the mysteries of this region, it becomes clear that the more we understand about animal adaptations to the dark, the closer we may come to unlocking the secrets of the Bermuda Triangle. Now, as we sail through the winding currents of mystery and science, we find ourselves facing the Bermuda Triangle, an area so steeped in enigma it practically hums with whispers of the unknown. Stretching over 500,000 square miles of the Atlantic Ocean, this triangle marked by points in Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico has become a place of fascination, and dare we say fear. Ships disappear without a trace, planes seemingly vanish into thin air. Even the most well-traveled sailors and experienced pilots have reported strange phenomena that defy logical explanation. But what if some of the mysterious events tied to the Bermuda Triangle are in fact a result of creatures with heightened sensory abilities navigating an environment we cannot fully perceive? Imagine, if you will, the sensation of being lost in an unfamiliar fog-shrouded world. The air is thick, your senses strained as you struggle to make out shapes in the distant dark. The wind feels different, the waves seem to move in unfamiliar patterns, and the very atmosphere seems charged with an eerie stillness. This is how the Bermuda Triangle can feel to those who venture into its depths. It's a place where the senses seem to misfire, where compass readings are unreliable, and where even the most sophisticated technology can fail. It is in this strange environment that the animals of the region, equipped with their extraordinary sensory adaptations, may hold the key to understanding what's really happening here. First, let's talk about the strange magnetic anomalies that plague the Bermuda Triangle. For decades, people have noticed that compasses, GPS systems, and even satellites can behave erratically in this area. Planes and ships have reported losing their navigational instruments without warning, and pilots have been forced to rely on their instincts to find their way. But what if these magnetic anomalies are not random at all? What if they're a sign that the creatures inhabiting this area, many of which have extraordinary sensory systems, are tuned into something far beyond our comprehension? In the case of marine animals like the magnetoreceptive fish or the enigmatic sharks that roam the deep, their ability to sense the Earth's magnetic fields may be a crucial factor in navigating the Bermuda Triangle. You see, many animals, especially those living in the deep ocean, can detect the planet's magnetic field. This ability, called magnetoreception, is like an invisible compass that allows creatures to sense the direction, intensity, and even fluctuations in the Earth's magnetic field. Some fish, sea turtles, and even certain types of birds are known to rely on magnetoreception to find their way across vast distances. Sharks, for instance, have special organs called the ampullae of Lorenzini, which help them detect electromagnetic fields. These magnetoreceptive abilities allow animals to navigate with an extraordinary level of precision even when human instruments fail. But could it be that the Bermuda Triangle's magnetic anomalies are interfering with the human-made technologies in this region while simultaneously enhancing the natural abilities of these creatures? It's possible that animals with finely tuned senses are navigating the Bermuda Triangle's complex magnetic fields with ease, while our instruments and technology are unable to adapt to these unseen forces. For example, the very mysterious disappearances that have plagued the Bermuda Triangle may not be a result of paranormal phenomena or supernatural forces. Could it be that the animals living in this region with their heightened abilities are simply attuned to the very magnetic disturbances that throw our navigation systems off course? As strange as it seems, it could be that the Bermuda Triangle is less a place of mystery and more a realm where the natural world's hidden powers come to the surface. Yet the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle doesn't end with magnetic fields. There are also other environmental factors to consider. The region's unpredictable weather patterns, sudden storms, and violent currents could play a significant role in making the area seem almost alive in its unpredictability. In fact, some scientists suggest that underwater topography, undersea mountains, valleys, and ridges could cause unusual changes in the local weather, such as sudden thunderstorms or powerful ocean currents that are capable of sinking ships or forcing planes off course. And what of the creatures that thrive in the Bermuda Triangle's deep waters? Could the underwater landscape be home to animals whose sensory abilities allow them to thrive in these chaotic conditions? It's known that deep-sea animals, such as certain species of squid and bioluminescent fish, have adapted to navigate in complete darkness using specialized forms of vision like infrared sensitivity or complex eye structures. Could it be that the creatures of the Bermuda Triangle have developed ways to sense and react to the underwater changes that we can't even begin to fathom? But beyond the creatures themselves, there's the question of how they perceive the world around them. As we've discussed earlier, animals like the fox and the mantis, shrimp have developed eyes and senses that go beyond human comprehension. These animals aren't just seeing the world in the same way we do. They're processing the environment in ways that are entirely foreign to us. In the Bermuda Triangle, could it be that certain creatures are navigating a complex web of electromagnetic fields, underwater currents, and fluctuating weather patterns in ways that we simply can't comprehend. Perhaps the real mystery is that these animals, with their finely tuned senses, are moving through a world that is as complex and unpredictable as the Bermuda Triangle itself. Take, for example, the case of bioluminescent animals. In the darkness of the Bermuda Triangle's deep waters, these animals use their own light to communicate, attract prey, or even ward off predators. Their light can be seen as a form of communication in a realm where visibility is limited. Could it be that this form of bioluminescence plays a role in the strange phenomena that occur in this area? Could the glowing lights beneath the waves be part of an intricate network of signals and responses between marine life, reacting to the electromagnetic and environmental shifts that take place in the Bermuda Triangle? As you listen to these ideas, you may find yourself wondering, what if the Bermuda Triangle isn't just a place of mysterious disappearances, but a complex living ecosystem that interacts with the Earth's energy and magnetic fields in ways we don't fully understand? What if the creatures that live there are simply more attuned to the forces that we cannot see, helping them navigate a world that's invisible to our eyes? Perhaps we've only begun to scratch the surface of what's really going on in this enigmatic part of the world. Now let's slow things down and dive deeper, like a gentle descent, into the still waters of the Bermuda Triangle, where the real secrets of nature are tucked beneath the surface. You might find yourself wondering if there's something more than just magnetic fields at play in this strange region. Could it be that the Bermuda Triangle itself is a place where the usual rules of navigation, both physical and metaphysical, no longer apply? Could the animals that roam these waters be sensing something far beyond our human understanding of the physical world? As we journey further, we'll begin to unravel another layer of the Bermuda Triangle mystery, the role of sound in this watery magnetic domain. Sound, it turns out, is one of the most powerful and underappreciated senses in the animal kingdom. In the deep, silent waters of the Bermuda Triangle, sound waves travel in ways that are almost incomprehensible to us. While we might think of sound as something we hear in the air, it behaves in very different ways underwater. In fact, underwater sound waves travel faster and farther than they do in the air, and animals living in these depths are exquisitely tuned to use sound to navigate and communicate. Imagine being submerged in the depths of the ocean, surrounded by thick, impenetrable darkness. For a moment, the world seems completely still. But then, faint vibrations like whispers from an unseen world begin to travel through the water. These vibrations carry information, telling creatures where they are, what's around them, and what's coming. This is the world of underwater acoustics, where sound moves as a mysterious force guiding animals in their movements, much like the magnetic fields guide them through the skies. Whales, dolphins, and certain species of fish are known to use sound to navigate through their environment in a process called echolocation. This ability allows them to create a mental map of their surroundings, even in the darkest waters, by emitting sound waves and listening to the echoes that return. Through echolocation, these creatures can detect objects miles away, something that would be unimaginable for a human. In the Bermuda Triangle, this ability may be more than just a survival tool. It could be the key to understanding how animals navigate the peculiar and sometimes dangerous waters of this region. The Bermuda Triangle has been infamous for its unpredictable weather and violent storms, which can whip up in an instant, leaving even the most seasoned mariners disoriented and lost. But to animals with the ability to sense sound waves in the water, these storms might not be the terrifying mysteries they are for us. Dolphins, for example, are known to use low-frequency sounds to communicate over long distances. Sounds that can travel through the water for miles, even under rough conditions. In a way, these creatures could be tuning into the sounds of the storm long before the human eye can see the telltale signs of an approaching squall. This brings us back to a fascinating question. Could the disturbances in the Bermuda Triangle's magnetic field create ripples in the underwater soundscape? Could these sound distortions contribute to the disorientation and confusion felt by vessels and aircraft? For animals that are more sensitive to these subtle shifts, they might be using sound to navigate through what appears to be a chaotic environment, while humans struggle to understand the forces at play. Interestingly, some researchers have speculated that the Bermuda Triangle may also be home to massive underwater gas deposits, which, if released, suddenly could cause dramatic changes in the water's density and disrupt the acoustic environment. If this were the case, the creatures of the Bermuda Triangle, equipped with heightened sound sensitivity, might be able to detect these changes long before they impact human technology. The animals living here with their finely tuned systems could be moving through an environment where sound plays a crucial role in their survival and navigation, while we as humans remain unaware of the subtle cues they are picking up. And just like sound travels across the water, we find ourselves considering yet another fascinating aspect of the Bermuda Triangle, its deep, submerged topography. The ocean floor beneath this mysterious region is far from flat. It's a vast, undulating landscape full of underwater mountains, valleys, and ridges. This terrain, with its ever-changing contours, could be influencing the flow of both water and sound, creating complex swirling patterns of movement that humans are ill-equipped to navigate. In the deep-sea world, creatures are constantly adjusting to these underwater shifts, using their heightened senses to perceive the subtle differences in pressure and current. A simple change in the depth or shape of the seafloor could alter the path of an ocean current, creating a hidden whirlpool or a powerful riptide. For creatures like sharks, whose sensory systems are attuned to electric fields and vibrations, these changes are not just noticed, they are navigated with ease. In the Bermuda Triangle, animals like sharks, with their finely tuned electroreceptive organs, might be able to sense these changes in the flow of water, enabling them to avoid dangerous areas or find safe paths through turbulent waters. For humans, though, these shifts can be almost impossible to track. The ocean's depths may hold many more secrets than we could ever fathom. Now, as you listen to this, you might be asking if animals can navigate such complex environments with ease. What is it that makes humans struggle so much in the same place? Why are we so prone to becoming lost or disoriented in the Bermuda Triangle, while animals seem to glide through it effortlessly? Could it be that the difference lies in our perception of the world? Animals with their enhanced sensory systems are attuned to a different set of signals, ones that we are not even aware of. In the Bermuda Triangle, it seems that the creatures who thrive here have learned to understand and adapt to the mysteries that baffle us. As we continue this exploration, keep this in mind: the Bermuda Triangle may not be a place where the rules of nature disappear. Rather, it's a place where the hidden systems of the natural world, systems of sound magnetism and fluid dynamics, come together in ways we are only beginning to understand. The animals of this region, with their incredible abilities, may hold the answers to the questions that continue to confound us. As we drift deeper into the waters of the Bermuda Triangle, let's begin to look at the ways animals like dolphins, sharks, and even certain species of squid have adapted to their unique environments. These creatures have developed an extraordinary sense of the world around them, one that transcends the boundaries of human perception. With every movement and every shift in the water, these animals seem to tune in to an invisible yet deeply felt orchestra of signals, a symphony of sounds, magnetic fields, and environmental cues. Imagine yourself for a moment as a dolphin gliding through the water. The light is dim, and the depths feel vast and mysterious. But to you, this is not a dark, unfathomable world. It's a rich, vibrant place filled with echoes, vibrations, and a constant flow of information. You send out a high-pitched click, a pulse of sound that will bounce off objects in your path and return to you as a series of returning echoes. From this simple sound wave, you construct a mental map of the underwater landscape shapes distances, even the movement of creatures swimming in the distance. In the murky depths of the Bermuda Triangle, you navigate by sound, relying on a complex system that humans can barely begin to comprehend. For dolphins, echolocation is not just a tool, it's a way of life. Their brains are finely tuned to interpret the information that returns from these sound waves, allowing them to see the world in a way that goes beyond visible light. This ability allows them to navigate in total darkness, to find prey, and to communicate over vast distances. But it's not just the sound that they're detecting, it's also the way the water behaves. Dolphins, like many other marine creatures, are extremely sensitive to the tiniest changes in the water's flow temperature and pressure. The Bermuda Triangle, with its shifting underwater topography and ever-changing currents, becomes a playground of sorts for these highly perceptive creatures. They're not just reacting to their environment, they're actively engaging with it, using their heightened senses to stay in tune with the rhythms of the sea. But dolphins are not the only ones. Sharks, for example, are equipped with a sense that seems almost supernatural to us. Sharks have specialized organs called the ampullae of Lorenzini, small jelly-filled sacs located around their snouts, which allow them to detect the faintest electric fields produced by living organisms. These organs are so sensitive that they can pick up electrical signals from a fish's heartbeat, even if that fish is buried deep in the sand. In the dark, murky waters of the Bermuda Triangle, where visibility is often poor and the magnetic fields are unpredictable, sharks can still detect and track their prey with pinpoint accuracy, navigating through the water as though they have a built-in radar system. To us, the Bermuda Triangle might seem chaotic, but to a shark, it's just another layer of information to process. If you were to ask yourself how this might help in a place like the Bermuda Triangle, you'd begin to understand that it's not just the water's currents or the magnetic fields that make this place special, it's the ability of animals to tune into these subtle signals. In the triangle, creatures like sharks don't get confused or lost. Instead, they're able to detect disturbances in the electromagnetic field and interpret them as a signal guiding them through areas where humans might get disoriented or lost. Then, of course, there are the mysterious creatures of the deep sea, those species that dwell in the blackened depths where sunlight can barely reach. In this remote world, many of these animals have evolved to thrive without light, using a combination of electric senses and bioluminescence to survive. Some species of squid, for example, can generate their own light, illuminating their surroundings in an eerie glow. The Bermuda Triangle is home to several deep-sea trenches and underwater mountain ranges where these creatures may be living in relative isolation. Their ability to produce light and detect electric fields might provide them with an edge, allowing them to thrive in one of the planet's most enigmatic regions. In the absence of sunlight, these creatures rely on their own forms of illumination to navigate the pitch-black depths. This is where bioluminescence becomes an essential tool. Some squid and fish species can create light by mixing special chemicals in their bodies. This light allows them to attract mates, lure prey, and even defend themselves from predators. The Bermuda Triangle, with its mysterious underwater topography, could be the ideal environment for these glowing creatures to thrive as the shifting currents and magnetic anomalies play into their advantage. To us, the dark waters might seem ominous and dangerous, but to them, it's just another part of the natural world, one they are perfectly adapted to. Now let's pause for a moment and consider the bigger picture. Why have these creatures evolved such incredible senses while humans have not? The answer may lie in the way that animals in the Bermuda Triangle interact with their environment. In the same way that a spider's web is designed to catch prey, the animals that live in the Bermuda Triangle are honed to navigate and thrive in a place where we as humans struggle to make sense of the world around us. Their abilities, finely tuned over millions of years of evolution, allow them to pick up on signals that we can't even begin to detect. In essence, their world is a place where the rules of perception and navigation are completely different from our own. As you listen, you might wonder if there's a lesson to be learned from these animals. Could we too learn to tune into the natural world in a way that enhances our own understanding of our surroundings? Could we develop the kind of sensitivity that dolphins, sharks, and deep-sea creatures possess? These are questions that scientists are only beginning to explore as they study the ways that animals interact with their environments, and the mysteries of places like the Bermuda Triangle continue to inspire both awe and curiosity. By learning from these incredible creatures, we might one day unlock the secrets of the Bermuda Triangle. Perhaps like the animals that live there, we too will learn how to navigate the hidden world of sound magnetism and water currents that elude us today. Now, as we move deeper into the enigma of the Bermuda Triangle, we begin to encounter another fascinating layer, the human fascination with its mysteries. For centuries, this region has been the subject of countless theories, speculations, and even urban legends. It's as though the Bermuda Triangle has taken on a life of its own, shifting from a mere geographical area into something more a living, breathing entity that seems to play games with human perception. The stories are countless planes and ships disappearing without a trace, strange compass malfunctions, and unsettling reports of navigational errors. But could there be a scientific explanation for all of this? Let's begin by considering one of the most common theories surrounding the Bermuda Triangle, the idea of magnetic anomalies. Throughout history, people have reported strange phenomena in the region where compasses stop working or point in odd directions. The idea behind this is simple: magnetic fields, which are essential for navigation, could be warped or distorted in this area, causing instruments to malfunction. But is it really the case? Could there be some sort of magnetic disturbance that influences both human devices and natural organisms alike? Scientists have studied the Earth's magnetic field for centuries, and one of the most fascinating discoveries has been the presence of natural anomalies in certain parts of the world. The Bermuda Triangle lies along an area known as the Magnetic Anomaly Zone. This is a region where the Earth's magnetic field is particularly weak, and it can cause compasses to behave erratically. This phenomenon, however, isn't exclusive to the Bermuda Triangle. There are other regions in the world where similar magnetic anomalies occur, such as parts of the Arctic and the South Pacific. Still, the Bermuda Triangle has become synonymous with these bizarre occurrences, adding to its aura of mystery. If you've ever wondered why your phone's GPS sometimes glitches, it might not just be a software issue. In certain parts of the world, including the Bermuda Triangle, fluctuations in the Earth's magnetic field can interfere with satellites and electronic equipment. This means that while modern technology may give us the illusion of precision and reliability, it's still susceptible to the forces of nature. Now imagine how much more vulnerable older ships and aircraft would have been without the benefit of modern navigation aids. The very fabric of our understanding of direction and location seems to unravel in the presence of these magnetic disturbances, and we are left to wonder, could the Bermuda Triangle's reputation be the result of our vulnerability to forces beyond our comprehension? But there's another layer to this mystery, one that is even more tantalizing. The idea that the Bermuda Triangle is somehow connected to the vast, deep ocean trenches that lie beneath its surface. The waters of the Bermuda Triangle are home to some of the deepest sections of the Atlantic Ocean, where the seafloor plunges into abysses that are nearly incomprehensible in scale. In these deep waters, the forces at play, both geological and electromagnetic, are likely unlike anything we encounter on land. Could these undersea trenches be amplifying magnetic anomalies, or perhaps even creating their own? Could these deep and mysterious sections of the ocean hold some untapped force? Some secret that, when triggered, could cause sudden and inexplicable disturbances? Some researchers have pointed to the existence of methane gas pockets deep below the Bermuda Triangle's waters as a possible explanation for these strange disappearances. Methane hydrates, frozen pockets of methane gas trapped in the seafloor, are thought to be present in large quantities in the area. When these pockets are disturbed by tectonic shifts, undersea landslides, or other geological events, the gas can be released suddenly into the water, creating large bubbles. These bubbles can reduce the density of the water, causing ships to lose buoyancy and sink. It's an eerie possibility, one that could explain why ships seem to disappear without warning, vanishing into the depths without leaving a trace. The mere presence of methane could be altering the oceanic landscape in ways we can barely grasp. Now, while these theories are scientifically fascinating, they don't quite answer all the questions. Why does it seem as though entire ships or planes vanish without a trace? Why, after so many years of investigation, are the most puzzling mysteries still unsolved? Some skeptics argue that the Bermuda Triangle's reputation for danger is merely a product of myth and exaggeration. After all, there are thousands of planes and ships that traverse the oceans every day without incident. Statistically speaking, the Bermuda Triangle isn't actually any more dangerous than any other part of the ocean. But that doesn't fully account for the eerie patterns, the strange disappearances, and the countless unexplained phenomena. And so, we are left with a paradox, an area that, while scientifically explainable, is still wrapped in layers of mystery. Could there be something more to the Bermuda Triangle than we understand? Could there be factors at play that our science simply hasn't caught up to yet? Perhaps it's not just magnetic anomalies or deep-sea methane that's causing these strange occurrences, but rather a combination of forces, natural and perhaps even unknown, that we've yet to decipher. As we reflect on these phenomena, we may ask ourselves how much of our understanding of the world is based on what we can observe, and how much is determined by what we have yet to discover. The Bermuda Triangle continues to challenge our conceptions of reality, forcing us to confront the limitations of our knowledge. It's a reminder that despite all of our advancements, there is still so much that we don't fully understand about the natural world. And maybe that's what makes the Bermuda Triangle so compelling a place, where the known and the unknown come together, where science and mystery collide in an endless dance. Perhaps as we venture forward into the next part of our exploration, we'll begin to uncover even more layers of this enigma. The Bermuda Triangle remains a symbol of the vast, mysterious world we still have yet to truly comprehend. As we continue our exploration of the Bermuda Triangle's mysteries, we begin to shift our focus to the human experience itself, how the triangle has captured the imagination of countless explorers, sailors, pilots, and scientists over the centuries. You might find yourself wondering, what exactly is it about this strange patch of ocean that has made it a focal point of fascination, speculation, and fear? After all, the mysteries surrounding the Bermuda Triangle aren't just about science, they're about stories. And in every story, there's a part of the human spirit that seeks answers to the unexplained. Let's begin by examining how the Bermuda Triangle became known as the Devil's Triangle. The first written accounts of strange disappearances in the region date back to the early 20th century, but the area gained international notoriety in the 1950s and 1960s. Books, magazine articles, and even documentaries began to explore the supposed mysteries of the triangle, weaving tales of ships disappearing, without a trace, pilots vanishing from radar, and entire fleets being lost to the ocean without explanation. The more mysterious the stories became, the more the public's imagination ran wild with fear and curiosity. The stories didn't just make the Bermuda Triangle a subject of scientific interest, they turned it into a cultural phenomenon, transforming the region into something almost mythical. In fact, the human tendency to mythologize unexplained phenomena is part of what has made the Bermuda Triangle so compelling. When something happens that defies logic, something so dramatic and so baffling, it's almost as if our brains crave a sense of closure. We try to make sense of the world by telling stories often, crafting narratives that fit within our cultural and emotional framework. The Bermuda Triangle is a perfect example of how, in the absence of complete answers, we fill the gaps with imagination. These stories offer not just a sense of mystery, but also a sense of danger, a reminder that we live in a world full of forces we may not fully understand. But what exactly makes the Bermuda Triangle different from any other place on Earth? If you think about it, the world is full of strange phenomena, places where magnetic anomalies exist, deep ocean trenches abound, and powerful storms are frequent. Yet the Bermuda Triangle stands apart in its ability to stir our imagination. Is it simply the sheer number of reported disappearances, or is there something more? One could argue that part of its allure lies in the intersection of science and myth, where facts and folklore coexist in a delicate balance. As we consider the cultural impact of the Bermuda Triangle, let's delve deeper into the scientific community's attempts to separate fact from fiction. The scientific perspective on the Bermuda Triangle is a mix of skepticism and inquiry. There are researchers who believe that much of the mystery is rooted in human error, misunderstanding, and over-exaggeration. Statistically, the number of incidents that occur in the Bermuda Triangle is not significantly higher than in any other busy region of the ocean. In fact, the vast majority of the purported disappearances can be explained by natural causes such as storms, human mistakes, mechanical failures, and navigational errors. However, there are others who maintain that something more is at play. Some scientists suggest that the Bermuda Triangle might have unique geological features such as underwater volcanoes, methane gas emissions, or even deep-sea rifts that contribute to the odd occurrences. But these theories remain speculative at best, with no conclusive evidence to back them up. So, as much as we might want to seek out a single definitive explanation, the Bermuda Triangle remains a place of uncertainty, its mysteries lingering like a fog over the ocean. Let's take a moment to consider the role of human psychology in shaping the Bermuda Triangle's lore. As humans, we're wired to seek patterns and meaning in the world around us, especially in the face of chaos or the unknown. When things don't go as expected, we search for reasons, and often our minds create elaborate explanations that fit within the context of our fears and desires. The Bermuda Triangle has become a reflection of this human tendency, an ever-expanding canvas onto which we project our anxieties about the forces of nature, the limits of human understanding, and the possibility of something supernatural lurking just beyond our reach. It's also worth considering how our relationship with the ocean plays into the story of the Bermuda Triangle. The ocean is vast and mysterious, and for much of human history, it was an inhospitable, unknowable force. The Bermuda Triangle represents the idea that there are still places on Earth that remain enigmatic and wild places where even our advanced technology can't guarantee safety or certainty. In this way, the Bermuda Triangle serves as a reminder of nature's unpredictability, challenging our assumptions about human control and understanding. Now, as we pause for a moment, we might reflect on how the Bermuda Triangle fits into the broader human experience. Perhaps the fascination with this region isn't about seeking a single truth, but rather about exploring our collective yearning for mystery and discovery. After all, we live in a world where much of what we know is still a fraction of what remains unknown. The Bermuda Triangle is but one piece of a larger puzzle, one that connects us to the wonders and dangers of the natural world. And while we may never fully solve the enigma of the Bermuda Triangle, its allure endures. The stories, the theories, and the unexplained disappearances continue to capture our imagination, and in that sense, the Bermuda Triangle has become more than just a geographical location. It's become a symbol of our desire to understand, to explore, and to confront the mysteries of the world in all their complexity. As we venture forward, we may come closer to uncovering even more facets of the Bermuda Triangle's mystery. But for now, let us marvel at the place where science and myth intertwine, where curiosity and fear meet in the depths of the ocean. As we continue to explore the Bermuda Triangle's enigmatic charm, it's time to address one of the most common questions that often emerges from these strange tales. Why does the Bermuda Triangle seem to spark such intense curiosity even after so many explanations have been proposed? There's something magnetic about this region, something that keeps bringing people back to its waters, time and again. But beyond the folklore and theories, there lies an intricate relationship between the human psyche and the unknown one that beckons us to understand not just the Bermuda Triangle itself, but the very nature of mystery itself. Let's begin with the concept of fear. Fear, like curiosity, is a powerful motivator, one that has driven human exploration for centuries. Think about it, we are drawn to the unknown, even as it stirs an unease deep within us. The Bermuda Triangle's reputation for danger taps into that primal fear, the fear of losing control or encountering something we cannot comprehend. But it's also the very unpredictability of the triangle that makes it so fascinating. We know it's dangerous, but we don't know why, and that uncertainty is like an open invitation to explore deeper. But there's a twist. Fear can be addictive. The more we try to understand the Bermuda Triangle, the more we come to realize that perhaps its allure isn't solely based on danger, but on the mystery that surrounds it. There's something almost comforting about the idea that there are things in this world that defy explanation, that challenge our understanding of reality. It reminds us that even in an age of unprecedented knowledge, there are still pockets of the world where human understanding remains just out of reach. In a sense, the Bermuda Triangle symbolizes the limits of human exploration, a boundary where curiosity meets its match. Now let's shift our focus a bit and look at the specific phenomena that have been associated with the Bermuda Triangle. One of the most intriguing aspects of this region is its relationship with the weather. The Bermuda Triangle is notorious for its storms that appear seemingly out of nowhere and can be incredibly powerful. In fact, it's not uncommon for weather systems to develop rapidly and with little warning. Some scientists believe that this unpredictability could be one of the reasons behind the high number of disappearances in the region. But why is the weather in the Bermuda Triangle so volatile? To understand this, we need to consider the geographical location of the area. The Bermuda Triangle lies in a unique spot where warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico meets cool, dry air from the north. This collision of different air masses can create intense thunderstorms that are capable of disrupting aircraft and ships. These storms can produce lightning-high winds and violent turbulence, all of which can make navigation incredibly difficult. One particularly fascinating phenomenon associated with the Bermuda Triangle is the occurrence of squalls. Squalls are intense, sudden bursts of wind and rain that can appear with little warning. In the Bermuda Triangle, squalls are not only more frequent, but they can also be much more severe than in other parts of the world. These squalls are capable of generating winds that exceed 50 knots, which is enough to capsize small boats or cause significant damage to larger vessels. The unexpected nature of these squalls can make it incredibly difficult for pilots and sailors to predict and avoid dangerous conditions, potentially leading to disaster. But the weather in the Bermuda Triangle isn't just about squalls and thunderstorms. There are also instances of electromagnetic anomalies that have been reported by pilots and sailors. These anomalies are said to interfere with navigation systems, causing instruments to malfunction or behave erratically. Some believe that these anomalies could be linked to the unusual magnetic fields in the region, but once again, this remains a matter of speculation. These electromagnetic disturbances have raised eyebrows in the scientific community, and while some researchers believe that they may play a role in the disappearances, others argue that there is no conclusive evidence to support this theory. Still, the idea that an invisible force could disrupt our technology and lead to catastrophic events taps into a deep-seated fear of being powerless in the face of nature. It's one thing to understand weather patterns and navigate accordingly. It's another to face an invisible force that we cannot see, touch, or predict. This is one of the most unnerving aspects of the Bermuda Triangle, the suggestion that something could be at work beneath the surface, beyond the reach of our senses. Let's take a moment to consider the broader implications of these phenomena. What does it mean when nature presents us with challenges that are so difficult to overcome? Is the Bermuda Triangle simply an example of how little we truly understand the forces of nature? Or is it a metaphor for the mysteries that we, as a species, continue to confront in our quest for knowledge? The triangle, in its chaotic beauty, serves as a reminder that there are still limits to human control, even in a world dominated by technology and science. But for all its mysteries, the Bermuda Triangle is also a place that attracts not only those seeking answers, but also those with a sense of adventure. Whether it's the promise of uncovering ancient shipwrecks or discovering hidden underwater landscapes, the Bermuda Triangle holds a sense of untapped potential. It represents an unexplored frontier in a world that's increasingly mapped, analyzed, and understood. And in that sense, perhaps the greatest allure of the Bermuda Triangle is not its danger, but the uncharted possibilities that it holds. As we continue to unravel its mysteries, it's important to remember that there is much we still don't know about the world around us. The Bermuda Triangle, with all its stories and unexplained disappearances, serves as a reminder that even in our most advanced age, there are places where the unknown still reigns supreme. And in that sense, perhaps we are drawn to it, not just because it's a danger, but because it speaks to our inherent desire to explore, to learn, and to confront the unexplainable forces that lie beyond our grasp. Now that we've journeyed through some of the more tangible elements surrounding the Bermuda Triangle, let's slow down a bit and explore something deeper, something almost philosophical in nature. What is it about human beings that compels us to seek out the unknown, especially in places as mysterious as the Bermuda Triangle? There's a deep psychological undercurrent that makes us fascinated by places that seem to defy explanation. This region of the world, with its eerie reputation and unanswered questions, resonates with something more profound in the human psyche, something that stretches far beyond weather patterns and electromagnetic anomalies. Think for a moment about the concept of mystery itself. When faced with something unexplained, whether it's a strange disappearance or an inexplicable event, we are driven not only by a desire for answers, but by a deeper urge to connect with the unknown. There's something alluring about a good mystery, isn't there? It's as though our brains are hardwired to seek answers to fill in the gaps in our understanding. The Bermuda Triangle, as a seemingly endless puzzle, offers the perfect scenario for this craving for clarity. But let's not forget that mysteries, especially the kind that have stumped scientists for decades, can stir up a range of emotions. They ignite curiosity and intrigue, yes, but they also bring with them a hint of existential discomfort. When we encounter the unknown, there's a sense of wonder, yes, but there's also a twinge of fear. That combination of fascination and unease is one of the most powerful emotional responses we have as humans. It's what drives us to keep exploring even in the face of uncertainty. And this, perhaps more than any scientific theory, is why the Bermuda Triangle captivates us. It sits comfortably at the intersection of wonder and fear, and it compels us to continue asking questions. It's easy to see how, over time, this area has become a canvas for many kinds of stories. Some are grounded in science, others in superstition, and still others in pure imagination. In fact, one of the reasons the Bermuda Triangle remains so compelling is because of the sheer variety of explanations that people have proposed. Over the years, theories about what's really going on in this region have ranged from the plausible to the far-fetched. For example, one of the most well-known theories is that the Bermuda Triangle is a portal to another dimension or parallel universe. Some suggest that spacecraft, aircraft, or even ships could be sucked into an alternate reality, never to return. While these ideas sound more like science fiction than actual science, they tap into a deep-seated fear of the unknown that has captured the human imagination for generations. What if the Bermuda Triangle is the entrance to something we can't even begin to comprehend? The thought of being swallowed up by an uncharted alien space triggers a powerful sense of awe and terror at the same time. Another intriguing theory is that the Bermuda Triangle's mysteries might be tied to the ancient civilizations that once lived in the region. Could there be something in the ocean depths, perhaps remnants of lost cities or technology that's responsible for these disappearances? Could advanced civilizations have left behind a force that we're unable to understand or detect? We often romanticize the idea of long-lost knowledge, as if ancient peoples might have known something that modern science has yet to uncover. This theory, while certainly speculative, plays into our fascination with lost wisdom, and the idea that some things are just too old, too strange for us to fully grasp. Then, of course, there are the more practical, yet still mysterious theories. Theories that center around natural phenomena, such as methane hydrate eruptions from the ocean floor, which could potentially cause ships and planes to lose buoyancy or fail mid-flight. Or the idea that powerful ocean currents, combined with the unpredictable weather, can create deadly conditions that lead to accidents. While these explanations are grounded in established scientific principles, they still fail to provide a complete picture of what happens in the Bermuda Triangle. There's always a nagging question: why does it happen here and not everywhere? But perhaps the most compelling reason that the Bermuda Triangle continues to captivate us is not the theories themselves, but the fact that no one can fully explain it. The lack of closure, the refusal to allow the mystery to be solved, is what keeps people coming back. In a world so filled with answers, where the unknown is often tamed by science and technology, the Bermuda Triangle stands as a reminder that there are still places in this world that remain elusive, unpredictable, and unfathomable. It is a paradox, both a place of danger and an oasis of mystery, and that is precisely what makes it so tantalizing. Have you ever wondered why we humans have such a deep fascination with mysteries? It's more than just wanting answers. It's the thrill of venturing into a realm where the ordinary rules don't apply, where the very laws of nature seem to bend or even break. The Bermuda Triangle is in essence the perfect playground for our minds. It offers the promise of adventure, the allure of discovery, and the challenge of facing the unknown. Yet it remains just out of reach forever, dancing on the edge of our understanding. And perhaps that's why we keep returning to it. Because even in the face of danger or uncertainty, We are drawn to the Bermuda Triangle not just as a place of peril, but as a symbol of what we cannot fully comprehend. It represents the boundaries of our knowledge and the tantalizing possibility that beyond these boundaries there might still be more to discover. And for as long as the mystery remains unsolved, it will continue to call to us, inviting us to dive deeper into its secrets. Now that we've ventured into the psychological and philosophical allure of the Bermuda Triangle, let's pull back to look at another layer, the human impact on the legend itself. You might be wondering how a place so steeped in mystery became such an iconic and even feared region of the world. It's all about the stories we tell. Stories shape reality, don't they? They give meaning to the unexplained and offer context where there is none. The Bermuda Triangle as a concept didn't become famous overnight. It wasn't just the inexplicable disappearances or strange weather patterns that fueled its mythos. It was the stories that were told about it. The more sensational the story, the more it captured the collective imagination. Stories of lost ships' planes vanishing without a trace and eerie encounters have been passed down for generations, each telling adding another layer to the legend. One of the first and most significant drivers of the Bermuda Triangle myth was a series of articles written by a man named Vincent Gaddis in the 1960s. Gaddis, an American writer, compiled an assortment of strange disappearances into a book titled The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. His work helped solidify the idea of this stretch of ocean as a dangerous and mysterious place. But Gaddis didn't just stick to dry facts. He imbued his writing with a sense of eerie foreboding, painting the region as one where forces beyond our control lurk in the shadows, waiting to claim the unwary. You can almost picture it, can't you? A lone plane flying through the skies, a storm brewing an invisible force, tugging it downward. Or a ship lost at sea, its crew disappearing into the depths without a sound. These vivid mental images are not just the product of a few odd coincidences. They were carefully woven into the narrative, giving rise to the myth of the Bermuda Triangle as a supernatural hotspot. But it's not just one author or one book that has kept the myth alive. Over the years, movies, TV shows, documentaries, and even conspiracy theorists have piled onto the legend, each adding a new twist or interpretation. Every retelling of the Bermuda Triangle's mysteries has contributed to the growing sense of its danger and strangeness. Take, for instance, the numerous pop culture references from The Twilight Zone to Lost, each adding their own flavor of intrigue and supernatural tension. These stories tap into our collective fears and curiosities, drawing us into a world where the boundaries of reality are not just bent, but entirely blurred. It's interesting to think about how we as humans often look for patterns in the chaos around us. The Bermuda Triangle became a symbol, a shorthand for the unknown, because we could grasp onto it. We could say, ah, yes, this is the place where things don't make sense. But there's an important lesson in this too. Stories, while captivating, can cloud the very truth we seek. You might wonder, as I do sometimes, what's behind the constant tug of these supernatural and sensationalized stories. Is it our innate desire for answers? Our love of the unknown? Perhaps it's both. We are creatures of stories. We've been telling them since the dawn of time. And as much as we think we are rational beings, stories have a sneaky way of slipping past our defenses. They pull us into a world where anything is possible. As the Bermuda Triangle myth grew, so too did the sense of awe and fear surrounding it. The stories about it became larger than life, and this has a profound impact on how we view the world. Even if scientifically speaking, most of the explanations for what happens in the Bermuda Triangle are rooted in real tangible phenomena, it doesn't change the fact that the legend persists in the collective imagination. It's almost as if the region is living two lives, one in the realm of science, where storms, magnetic fields, and human error are the primary culprits, and another in the realm of the mysterious, where ghost ships, alien encounters, and lost civilizations dwell. Let's pause for a moment. Do you remember the first time you heard about the Bermuda Triangle? Maybe you were a child listening to a story from a friend or watching an old documentary on TV. The way the tale was told made you lean in closer, didn't it? You hung on to every word, your mind racing with possibilities. Could this place really exist? Could there be a part of the world where the usual rules don't apply? Where the line between reality and imagination is blurred so thoroughly that it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins? This, I think, is part of the power of the Bermuda Triangle. It has become a place where we willingly suspend disbelief, where reality and fiction mix, and where we let our imaginations wander far beyond the shores of what we can understand. It's a place that demands our attention, and in doing so, asks us to question what we know about the world around us. But perhaps at the end of the day, that's the real allure of the Bermuda Triangle, its ability to make us dream, to make us think outside the boundaries of science and logic, to dare to imagine what might exist just beyond our reach. It's a world unto itself, both real and imagined, and that tension between the known and the unknown is what keeps us coming back to it, time and time again. The Bermuda Triangle, like many mysteries in life, holds something uniquely magnetic. It's not just the mystery of lost ships or planes that keeps us enthralled. It's the deeper question it presents. Why does a place with such normal earthly geography stir something so extraordinary in our minds? What makes this stretch of ocean so irresistibly captivating? To truly understand the allure of the Bermuda Triangle, we must look closely at the psychology of fear, fascination, and how the mind processes the unknown. Humans are naturally drawn to enigmas, particularly when they appear to be beyond our understanding. And the Bermuda Triangle, with its eerie reputation, fits perfectly into this human thirst for the mysterious. When something doesn't make sense, when logic and reason fail us, it awakens a primal part of our brains that yearns for answers, and sometimes we're willing to entertain the supernatural to find those answers. Imagine you're out on a boat floating across the deep, dark expanse of the ocean. The vastness surrounds you, stretching beyond the horizon, and the only sound is the lapping of the waves. For most of us, this would feel peaceful, but to others, it's unsettling. The idea of being in an environment so immense where the rules of navigation and survival seem to blur is an unsettling one. And if you're floating over a place like the Bermuda Triangle, where disappearances seem to defy reason, the anxiety level rises. The human mind is wired to make sense of its environment, and when something feels out of place, our imaginations fill the gaps with what we can't explain. This brings us to the question of why people continue to be so fascinated by the Bermuda Triangle despite the absence of solid evidence for its supernatural nature. What is it about the unexplained that draws us in? Could it be that the Bermuda Triangle represents something that lies just outside our grasp? It's a place where our knowledge of science meets its limit. Even when there are logical scientific explanations, the stories continue to captivate us. In some way, we prefer the ambiguity, the shadow of doubt that makes the mystery linger. Take, for instance, the idea of lost time. People who have ventured into the Bermuda Triangle sometimes report strange occurrences, disorienting experiences, where time seems to warp and reality itself feels fluid. You've probably heard of these accounts, pilots seeing things they couldn't explain, ships veering off course or disappearing for hours at a time, only to reappear in locations far removed from where they were last seen. While there are often plausible explanations, magnetic anomalies, human error, or natural phenomena like sudden storms, these stories don't erase the sense of strangeness. Instead, they fuel the fire. They turn the Bermuda Triangle into something more than a region on a map. It becomes a psychological battleground for reason and belief. It's fascinating to think about how this specific location has become such a symbol of the unknown. What is it about this area that creates such a potent narrative? A sense of fear that is uniquely human. People don't fear the entire ocean. They fear what they don't understand, what they cannot control. The Bermuda Triangle is the ultimate unknown, a place where human ingenuity and technology sometimes fail. There's no definitive answer to what happens there, and maybe that's why the legend endures. It leaves space for imagination to flourish. We want to believe, to sense, to feel the thrill of danger, even if it's just from the safety of a story or a documentary. We hunger for the kind of excitement that comes from the mysterious, from a place where ordinary things become extraordinary through the lens of possibility. So in this moment, I invite you to pause and ask yourself, what do you truly believe about the Bermuda Triangle? Is it simply a matter of scientific phenomena we haven't yet fully unraveled, or do you allow the mystique of it to swirl into the realm of the supernatural? Could it be that the most mysterious part of the Bermuda Triangle isn't the physical space at all, but the space it creates within us? The wonder, the awe, the curiosity that turns a swath of ocean into one of the most famous and frightening regions on Earth. As you continue to think about this, imagine the Bermuda Triangle as a mirror. It reflects not just the unknown in the world around us, but also the unknown within ourselves. What is it about the unfamiliar that lures us in, even as we fear it? Why do we tell stories that paint it as a place of danger, even when we know that much of the mystery can be explained by natural forces? Perhaps the answer lies in our deep-seated need to understand the world and in our willingness to explore its vast, shadowy corners. These mysterious places, like the Bermuda Triangle, give us a playground for the imagination, one where the lines between the possible and the impossible become blurred. At the same time, the Bermuda Triangle is a reminder that not everything can be neatly tied up in scientific explanation. It reminds us of the limits of human knowledge and the vastness of what is still to be discovered. Perhaps that's what makes it so alluring. It is in a way a sacred space, a realm where the mysteries of the universe seem just a little closer, a little more tangible. And in our quest for understanding, it challenges us to reach further than we've ever gone before. But remember, the Bermuda Triangle might be far more than just a location. It's an idea, a symbol that speaks to the mysteries we still long to solve. And maybe it's that very idea, the idea of the unexplained, that's the most powerful thing of all. As you find yourself resting back, thinking about the Bermuda Triangle and all the strange, fantastical tales that have grown around it, it's easy to drift into a sense of wonder. It's as if this one small stretch of ocean has become a symbol for the unknown, a reminder that there's still so much out there beyond our understanding. Whether it's the peculiar disappearances of ships, the eerie reports from pilots, or the magnetic anomalies that seem to play tricks on compasses, the Bermuda Triangle represents something far bigger than just a geographical location. It represents the limits of our knowledge. And in many ways, that's what makes it so intriguing. The Bermuda Triangle pulls us into a space between belief and skepticism, between science and imagination. It's a place where the world of the known meets the edges of the unknown, and it beckons us to venture closer, to peer into its depths. But just like any good mystery, it's not the answers we're most drawn to. It's the questions, the possibilities, the stories. The Bermuda Triangle, for all its scientific explanations, continues to inspire a thrill, a quiet, persistent hum that plays in the background of our minds, encouraging us to keep wondering, keep exploring. In the end, what truly defines the Bermuda Triangle is its ability to inspire us, to get us to ask questions, to challenge the boundaries of what we think we know. It invites us to see the world not just in terms of scientific facts and explanations, but in terms of wonder and possibility. And that, my friend, is the true magic of the Bermuda Triangle. It's not just a place on a map. It's a concept, a mystery that invites us to dive deeper into the unknown. As you begin to drift off to sleep, think about your own mysteries, the ones that linger at the edges of your awareness, the things you've wondered about and never fully understood. The Bermuda Triangle is a reminder that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. The thrill of the unknown, the possibility of discovery, and the curiosity that keeps us asking questions, this is the true essence of exploration. And so, let the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle linger in your mind, not as a puzzle that needs solving, but as a symbol of the wonder that lies in the unexplained. Because sometimes, it's the mysteries we can't quite understand that make the world feel even more alive. If you've enjoyed this journey, I'd be quietly grateful if you'd give this video a like or tap that subscribe button for more peaceful explorations with the Sleepy Scientist. It helps more than you might imagine. And before you drift off, I'd still love to know where in the world you're listening from and what time it is there. Leave a comment if you're feeling cozy enough to share. It's always a quiet joy to see this sleepy little community ripple across time zones and continents. Good night. Sweet dreams.